Thank you. I'll share my screen now. Let me know if you can see it.
Yeah, we can.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, first, hi all. My name is Maxi Churichi. I'm a software engineer at HP. I was previously at Untitled, one of the first contributors to SPIRE. Today with me is Juliano Fantozzi. He's based in Brazil. The country has beautiful beaches. And we work in the security engineering team at HP. And today we want to present Project GALADRIEL, something we have been working on for a while, and we have something to show you today. So I'm going to run this talk. Okay, awesome. First, we're going to do a quick recap on what SPIRE Federation is, how does it work, and how it's being approached. And then we're going to jump into what GALADRIEL is, and Juliano's going to run a demo. We have this proof of concept working. It's still on the early stage, as Evan mentioned earlier, but we are still on the works. And then we're going to briefly talk about what are the next steps and what we're headed to. So first, what is SPIRE Federation? SPIRE Federation, or Federation in the world of SPIRE, is a mechanism by which two trust domains can define a trust to each other. As you know, trust domain defined by a SPIRE server is a cryptographic boundary that defines that everything is inside of this trust domain is trusted, but everything that is outside is not trusted. So by setting up federation between two trust domains or two SPIRE servers, you can have a workload A in one trust domain, trust to workload B in the other trust domain. And they can verify each other, and that's how they establish trust. How you set up this in regular SPIRE? There are two ways to set this up. First, using the SPIRE server configuration file. You have to define two specific pieces of information. The first one is the bundle endpoint. It's a URL where the SPIRE server is going to expose an API that other SPIRE servers can reach out and get its bundle, its SPIFFE bundle. Then the other part of the configuration is defining what other trust domain this trust domain wants to federate to. So we said this broker example trust domain wants to federate with stock market.example. So we set the bundle endpoint of the other SPIRE server to find some stuff, some extra bundle SPIFFE configuration. And that's how we tell the server to trust to the other one. We have as many federates with pieces as we want, pointing to different trust domains, different SPIRE servers. This requires configuration changes, and to reload this, you have to restart the server with the new configuration in place. And the other way you can set up federation is using the federation API, or also known as the trust domain API. It's a gRPC API exposed by the server that you can access to as long as you have access to the admin socket exposed by the server, or you can also use regular TCP if you have an SBIT with the admin bit set on. You can talk to this API exposed by the server, and you can do any kind of management of the federation of relationships defining that SPIRE server. This is, in a nutshell, how it works. The first two bullets are the one we saw before. And the third one is how you bootstrap the trust for that first bundle exchange. Depending on what profile you want to use, there are a few ways, two ways actually, how you want to establish the connection. You might need to set the bundle of the SPIRE server on the other side. And well, once you have all of this configuration in place, you can spin up the SPIRE servers. And based on this configuration, the SPIRE A is going to reach out the bundle endpoint on SPIRE B. and fetch its bundle. And SPIRE base B is going to do the same the other way around. And they are going to be periodically doing this to make sure that the bundles on the other side are getting updated. So to introduce the project, this is the current limitations. The limitation we found with this the built-in SPIRE federation mechanism. First, federation requires both servers, in this case, to expose this endpoint, so the other SPIRE servers can access to the B. This might require network infrastructure changes. There might be some security concern on exposing the SPIRE server itself to outside of the trust boundary. And the next one, it's also regarding exposing the endpoint. There also might be some compliance reasons for you to not want to do this. Then there are scalability reasons. As you may see, as you saw, setting up probably two SPIRE domains to federate with each other doesn't require too many configuration changes, but if we talk about multiple SPIRE servers in HA mode or multiple trust domain, it becomes hard to manage. And also, there is no central way to audit or to manage all of these configuration relationships, as they are all stored in each SPIRE service database. This is how we found that some organization and users are approaching this, how they're using federation. First is out of the box, as we previously talked about, basically exposing this endpoint, and depending on how you want to set up the trust, you have just these two different profiles. Then some people is also sharing the bundles via some kind of object storage. That's how they change this bundle, and using a different mechanism to set those bundles on the SPIRE servers. Others are using a VPN or tunneling between the SPIRE servers, so they don't have to expose these bundle endpoints to the outer world. And then there is also the controller manager, which is was introduced not so long ago, that you can also set up your federation relationships, but this is called only for Kubernetes, and you still need to solve this bundle exchange and setting up this the configurations, the manifest of which trust domain you want to federate with. So all of this is to introduce GALADRIEL. What is GALADRIEL? It's an alternative to SPIRE federation. GALADRIEL is a central hub, it's a central place that collects the bundles of all the SPIRE servers that are connected to it and shares them as they need them. So the idea is to have something centralized, and adding third SPIRE server should be as easy as set up this SPIRE server to connect to GALADRIEL, and you can now federate with other SPIRE servers easily from that central place. So what is GALADRIEL? It's an alternative approach for federation. It is not intended to replace SPIRE federation or SPIFFE federation, but is built on top of the SPIRE APIs. It's also intended to be multi-tenant, so this can be shared across organization or trust boundaries. And it's, well, federation scale. The idea is to have this tool to facilitate the operation and administration of a good number of SPIRE servers we want to federate. It is not a SPIRE plugin. GALADRIEL is a standalone application that you have to deploy next to your SPIRE server. That is what the next slide is about. These are the main components of the GALADRIEL. The first is the server. This is the central place that we have been talking, and this is where all the bundles and relationships between SPIRE servers are stored. And the other component is the harvester. The harvester, it's a sidecar that runs next to the SPIRE server, talks to the SPIRE server using the local admin socket. So the harvester fetches, once it's authenticated, fetches the bundles and the relationships from other SPIRE servers from the GALADRIEL server. And then that's how it configures the SPIRE server. And this is intended to be easy to deploy and manage. So the harvester requires a minimal configuration to have it talking to the SPIRE server, and all the heavy duties will be done in the GALADRIEL server. A few security considerations. GALADRIEL does not concatenate bundles. This will be probably an easy and ready way to have this working, but this is not what happens. All these federation relationships are kept in GALADRIEL servers database. They are just distributed to the harvester, but the relationships are defined in the server. There is no sensitive material being sent, no private keys, no LSPs, no secrets sent over the network between the components. It's just plain trust bundles. And well, we are working, this is something very early, work in progress, but we are working on getting some sort of end-to-end signature verification of the bundles. The idea is to have some sort of mechanism by which harvester A can not only share its bundle, but also sign it. And once it's sent over the network to the other SPIRE server, it can validate that it was not tampered with, and basically verify the integrity of that trust bundle. And again, this is can be used as a multi-tenant application. I think that's it. Now I'm gonna, Juliano's gonna run the fun part. She's gonna run the demo, the proof of working we have. Juliano?
Thanks a lot, Maxi. I'll start sharing my screen. It doesn't allow me to preview. So I might need to add permissions for this. Sorry, guys, I don't use Zoom a lot. I'll be right back.
A little bit of technical difficulties, I guess we'll get it resolved. That's usually what's happened on Zoom. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we get you, Eli. We hear you.
Yeah, thank you. No, I was joking about, because this is like the common phrase for the Zoom.
Yes.
Can you see my screen? All right, here you go.
Okay, I'm sorry about this.
You're good.
Okay, let me move you guys over here and start the slideshow. Okay, so before jumping right into the demo, the first thing, let me just walk us through what are the steps that are going to be doing. So we have a bunch of scripts that are going to be there that I'm going to be running, and pretty much the order is going to be: first, we're going to deploy two different SPIREs under two different trust domains, of course. This is all going to be run locally, but you could think that these are anywhere. Next, the SPIRE agents for each one of those as well. And the third step is also a deployment step. We're going to be deploying the GALADRIEL server. Now, the fourth step, this is where we're going to be start playing with GALADRIEL. So we're going to be defining the members these can be thought as like registering the workloads for SPIRE. So here we're registering harvesters in the GALADRIEL server. We're in the POC using a similar mechanism of token generation, but very simple stuff to authenticate. So we're going to be creating these, and we're also going to be creating the relationship. So that's going to be saying that these new two harvesters that we're registering can federate to each other. Next, we're going to actually deploy the harvesters. And finally, we're going to deploy two workloads on under each one of the SPIRE umbrellas to have them talking to each other. Very straightforward. So let's get into it. First thing, let's start our SPIRE servers. So we can see them here in two different colors. The same is going to be for the agents. So agents have attested correctly. Now let's deploy the server. And before running this script, let me just show it what we're going to be doing. So we're simply going to be telling the GALADRIEL server to create a member, and that we're going to be providing the trust domains for each one of those. And similarly, when creating the relationship between them. Note that in the POC, we don't have two one-way relationships, but this is our goal for the MVP, one of them. So let's actually run this. Here we can see that those have been filed in our logs for the server. And let's finally run the harvesters, and we should see them connected on the GALADRIEL server as well. Okay, so we're good. The next thing we're going to be seeing here after they connect is that they have found a bundle that they need to send, right? Because once they connect, they will be sending their bundles. And the next thing that will happen is that because we have created a relationship between them, that will eventually come in to it. I say eventually because regarding one of the limitations that we spoke about, this is using a polling model, so we're not exposing the SPIRE servers and the harvesters. We're actually periodically calling the server to fetch for updates. Now, let's go to our final step, where we're going to be registering the workloads and running them. So here we can see that a lot of things are going on. And we can see that the client was able to connect to the server, all that using the workload API. Can show that real quick. Oh, never mind. Well, it should be here, but I'm getting confused with this small things. Excuse me. Okay, here they are. And I think that's it. So let's get back to the presentation. So as I already mentioned, for the next steps, we're really working hard on an MVP for the first half of 2023. And one of the main working points for us to figure out is and to figure out rock solid is the end-to-end verification of the cryptographic verification of the bundles being shared. Thank you. Please make sure to check out our GitHub. Of course, this is all open source, so we're in the point where we would really love to have you guys jumping in. There's a link for the design document as well. Please take a look at that, leave some comments. And just today, there was a blog that came out regarding GALADRIEL. So please take a look at that as well. And that's it. Any questions? I don't have a slide for questions. That's my bad.
I have a quick question for you. Did you consider implementing the harvester as a notifier plugin so that it would get automatically notified when there are changes to the trust bundles?
Yeah, we looked into the notifier. What I heard is that the plans for it is deprecation in favor of something that's not very well defined yet. I was looking at the issue some time ago, but I think that was the consideration. But still, the way that we're implementing this today, that was for the POC. Like we're manually sort of like doing this, but we would, if there was something to use, we would definitely probably be rather using that.
Besides the notifier plugin, there's also some super early discussions about implementing some sort of federation plugin type. But yeah, that idea will be long-term, if possible, to replace the harvesters with this a specific implementation of this new federation plugin type. Also, there's another question about GALADRIEL bootstrapping the bundles for federation. Actually, GALADRIEL does the whole thing, set up the bootstrap to configure the federation for the first time, and then it's going to periodically looking for updates for all the federation, the other SPIRE servers that it's federated with. So it's gonna go fetch those bundles from this GALADRIEL server, and it's gonna set those bundles in the SPIRE server itself. So as you can see in the demo there, we set up super brief video of 2 minutes, I think, for CA rotation. So every minute and a half or every minute, it's bundles on the two sides are rotating, and they are keep connecting because they are keeping the bundles updated. Hope that
We just got a
answers your question.
rotation. We just got a rotation that should permeate pretty soon here.
If I
As
one
for
more. Yes, Maxi, were you going to answer the question that we have in the Zoom chat? That's where do you configure which workloads should get the federated bundles? Is that on GALADRIEL or on SPIRE server?
that is still on SPIRE server. GALADRIEL only takes care of that bundle exchange and setting those federation relationships, but all of workload registration and federation between those specific workloads is still SPIRE's work.
Awesome, thank you. I think we're pretty much on time before their lunch break.
Awesome. Thanks again.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, folks. All right, folks, we have a 1 hour break. So I guess I'll see you all here in an hour. And Dennis from Bloomberg will start with open up with the presentation. So see you all soon.
Thank you. See ya.